morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's service. We are observing the autumn Ohigan and September Shotsuki service today. The word Ohigan means the other shore. Today's service is also sometimes referred to as Sanbusue, or a gathering to praise the Buddha. The other shore refers to the shore of enlightenment as opposed to the shore of samsara, or the world of delusion. In the Meditation Sutra, the Kammyo Jukyo, it describes the time twice a year when the sun sets directly in the west as optimal for meditation on the sun. This is also the symbolic direction to the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. During Ohigan, the observance of the 6 paramitas, the practices that bring us to the other shore, is practiced. We praise the Buddha who perfected the paramitas. In Jodo Shinshu, the emphasis is on the harmony of the universe represented by Amida Buddha. Today we also remember our family and friends who passed away in the month of September.
So let me take a few minutes to introduce our minister today, Reverend Dr. Akahoshi. So Reverend Dr. Kenji Akahoshi is an actual doctor, not a Buddhist doctor, but a dentist. He's practicing dentist for all his career in San Jose, and then he became a minister. So after retiring as a dentist in 2007, he went to IBS and got a master degree requirement for becoming a minister. And in 2013, he became a minister for San Diego Temple and served there for 8 years. And then retired for the second time in 2021. And since he has moved back to San Jose to be with his family, and he has been giving many lectures and continues to keep busy. And so we are very privileged to have him here today. He also has a master's degree in, transpersonal psychology. And he's conducted many Buddhist retreats in California, Washington, and Hawaii. So, and workshop on contemporary Shin Buddhism. So he's a real expert. So again, we're very privileged to have him here with us today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Tom, for that introduction. Yes, it's very nice to be here in Saline. It's been a long time since I've been here. I was a Dharma school teacher, and I remember years ago being here. And it's been rough here. I see Reverend Fujita has gone back to Japan, and then even Reverend Shinseki just retired. So it's been difficult without a minister. And we see that all temples are decreasing in membership and attendance. And I just spent 2.5 weeks in Hawaii, and of course they had the same situation. And I've been looking at this for 30 years, and Tom mentioned that I have this degree in psychology. Transpersonal means spiritual psychology. Humans have always had a relationship with the spiritual. And so psychology is not just among people, but with the spiritual. And this has allowed me to really explain things in a way that perhaps we haven't heard before. And the reason is these transpersonal psychologists said, if we're going to study consciousness, there's a group that knows about this, and they're called Buddhists. They've been doing this for over 2,000 years. In any event, I find that there are 2 things that are difficult for us to really understand some of the teachings of the Dharma. And I'm talking to especially younger people. And when I say that, anyone under 60 to me is younger. And the two differences are that we're talking about things that Shinran wrote 800 years ago. So there's a difference in culture, Japanese and American, and a difference in time. The earth used to be thought of as flat, and now it's universal. So what does this mean to a lot of people if I do this? Ohigan, come here. And then some of the younger people, what would this mean if you saw this? It's goodbye. So that's a cultural difference. We may be saying, Ohigan, come here, but in fact, the language and some of the things we say are saying goodbye. The other thing is time. You know, we used to, I had old school slide up newspapers, and now, and telephones, landline. But now I have a phone, I don't even know how to use this thing. Trying to answer the phone while I'm looking up other things. So it's a whole shift. And we have to think about some stories like, when's the last time you were at Sears? Yeah, it's gone. And the whole retail business has changed because we have the internet, we have Amazon. And so when we realize that the environment has changed, it's not that the religion needs to change, but how we communicate that. And so what I've been doing for the last 30 years is really looking at how to share Shin Buddhism in a contemporary way, because we know much more about things now. So today I'll be talking from what we call, you might say modern, but I like the word contemporary, how it relates to us now. I know when I was younger, as a 20, 30-year-old, we used to talk about Buddhism being relevant. Well, here just 6 years later, we're still talking about is Buddhism, Shin Buddhism relevant. So a contemporary view. Now, this on the program, we have a sketch of John Dao's river, two rivers, a fire and again, we have to realize that when John Dao, Shinran, even Honen were speaking, they were talking to people 500, 800 years ago. And the main concern was life and death. I broke my leg last year, and if I broke my leg 800 years ago, I think I would be dead by now. My family could not make a living. And so the concern was the afterlife, all these things, and they were conveyed with mythology. But in this day and age, if I break a leg, I go to a doctor, he puts this rod in my leg, and for many things, I've got lots of medical issues going on, but medicine has evolved so that we're not worried about dying so much. We want to be comfortable. We're learning about the comforts of life. And so, again, we need to shift our view. And so, what I see as this crossing over is not going from life to death, but becoming from unawareness to awakening. And this awakening just means I realize something. Mm-hmm. And what I've been saying is that what we don't have in America, what former Bishop Yamamoto was saying was that in the West, in America, we need to have an entry-level understanding of Buddhism. And I think that's why many of the younger people are not here. It doesn't relate. And so what I'll be saying may not pertain to many people here who are familiar with Nembutsu and many of the words. But for the young people, it's difficult to relate. And so what I've been saying is that what this little diagram represents is crossing over from becoming unaware to awareness. It's a shift in how we see things. And so this pure land, I call it a pure realm. It's just a mental state. In other words, we walk around and we think things are bad. We just have to have a shift in view. And we realize things could be better. And they are better. Now, Shinran found a way for common people to realize this truth without becoming a monk or a nun. Because at the time of the Buddha, we talked about enlightenment. And in order to do that, you have to leave home. You renounce ordinary life, which Shinran did for 20 years as a monk. But his honesty and his integrity said he couldn't do it as a monk. He still had these passions. And of course, we know he was with Honen and the group was exiled Ichigo. And so Shinran realized that the Buddha had spoken about another way, and of course it's in the larger sutra. And the easiest way I think we can convey this is that in Shin Buddhism, we do things a little differently. We realize that we have received things. Now, yeah, that's a little different. Let's imagine that the ocean, and we all often have this, the ocean is truth or reality. And we want to know about that. So how do we find out? We get into a submarine and we go down into the ocean to see truth. And we look out of a porthole in the front and we see a little sliver of the ocean, so we say, now I understand. But for Shin Buddhists, what we do is we look out another porthole in the back. We're looking at the back and we see how we got here. So we still only have a sliver, but we have a different perspective. We really appreciate all the things that brought us to this point. And this is why we're so grateful. Now, that's, and I'll talk about this a little later, that's why we're here at the Shotsuki. Really acknowledging those people in the past who have passed on, who gave us this awakening. Now, Shiran says this, when we receive a gift, if we're receiving something, he says, one should respond with gratitude to the universal vow of great compassion, slowly saying the Buddha's name constantly. So Shin Buddhism is about appreciating what I already have, and it's to balance the desire for what I don't have. And we know in America it's all about what you don't have, you have to buy more. But as Shin Buddhists, we're looking out this back porthole of the submarine and realizing that we have so much, we have this. Now, again, what Ohigan is about is the middle path, balance. The Buddha was a prince, and then he became what's called an ascetic, kind of a monk at that time. And he found that that didn't work. He almost died of starvation. And so he said, what is necessary is the middle path. And everything in life, natural in nature, is balance. So, you understand balance? And I have a couple of things. You understand balance? Okay, well, get this. The middle path is balance. Everyone understand this? Okay. Now, understanding is limited. It's up here. Now, what's important in Buddhism is practice. Because just understanding just says it's an idea. Now, for those of you, I'm going to try something, but for those of you who find it difficult, like myself, after I broke my leg, please stand up. We want to go from understanding to experience. So those of you who can, please stand up. We're going to get a better understanding of that. Now, just lift up one leg. And I can say, how long can you hold it in one leg? Now, this is the experience of balance. Okay, thank you. But is there a difference from understanding and experience? Yes, it's harder. And unless we have a practice, and Buddhism has always emphasized the practice, and then you sit, and each then you can't now go forward and get your. In Shin Buddhism, it's this attitude of gratitude, saying the Nembutsu in gratitude. So unless we have this practice, it just kind of stays an idea. And this whole idea of balance is just, an idea. And you'll forget my talk, about 3 o'clock this afternoon. What did that guy talk about? But a practice, a daily practice, makes the teachings of the Buddha, the Dharma, real for us. And so there is a practice. Now we often hear that we don't practice, but we don't practice to achieve anything. We practice to realize what we have already received. And, what do you do when you receive a gift? If you were to receive a gift, what's the first thing you might say? Thank you. Now, we don't have to translate thank you. I think everyone understands that. And so I find that and I've been doing this for many years, decades, that thank you is the easiest way for most people not familiar with Buddhism to begin to understand the basis of Shin Buddhism, this life of gratitude. So how do we say thank you? We find things every day to appreciate. And again, just a practice, there might be things we look for. What I've been doing is this exercise of the Eightfold Path kind of in backwards. We usually start with our views, thoughts, speech, action, and so forth. If we go backwards, we can think that in the morning, you wake up, and just for a minute or so, we meditate. We think about, what we might appreciate today. And it could be just a water faucet, something simple that we always encounter. So that takes a little mindfulness to remember that. It takes an effort. And so when we go down and we, in the bathroom, turn on the water, sink water faucet, it's conduct. And then we say, thank you. And that hits something in our mind. We're thanking what? The water, the plumber, the city that got it there. Also, there's a whole reservoir. There's a whole system of things that cause that water to be there. And it's similar to when we say itadakimasu. Why do we say that? We're thanking everyone, everything for the sacrifice and efforts of us having that meal. Sacrifice and efforts of animals, vegetables, farmers, people who drove the products to the stores, people who sold it, maybe whoever prepared that meal and served it, like my wife, or if you had a restaurant. Itadakimasu really reminds us of this whole system of hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of people and animals and vegetables that made this meal possible. So this is a practice of recognizing that we have been receiving things. Instead of thinking, oh, this meal doesn't taste quite, what I thought it should be, we appreciate that we have it. And here in America in the 21st century, we have so much, where much of the world may not have that. They may not even have the water that we turn on, that we can drink out of the faucet. And so, you see again, this practice is something that I encourage. So please do this practice. Try to find something every day that you can say thank you for. Now, for many of you, you can just jump to the next stage, which is Namanda, the Nembutsu. So for those who are not familiar, the first step is thank you. And I say it's like this movie some years ago called The Karate Kid. This little boy, Daniel, wants to be a karate expert to defend himself. And Captain Rita, who is Mr. Miyagi, tells him, okay, you want to learn karate? Come in and first, before we start lessons on karate, I want you to wax the car. So Danny has to wax the car when he's getting bored. And then Mr. Miyagi says, oh, paint the fence. And so he has to paint the fence. And Daniel's getting kind of upset and frustrated. I want to learn karate, and this old man, Miyagi, has me, painting fences and washing cars. Well, he finds out that in karate, these arm movements are fundamental to karate, the way you move your hands, in circle or up and down. So this is where I think thank you is. It sounds like it's very, not very religious maybe, but it's fundamental to Nembutsu. It's not all of it Nembutsu, it's part of it, but it's an important part. So just getting the practice of saying thank you. Now, I found I've been doing this in my workshops and retreats, and one of the most effective things is that in a car, when you come to a stoplight, what do we think? We get a yellow light or a red light. We think, oh no, gotta waste time. That's when we say thank you. Because if we hit the red light, other people have the green light and they can cross. So there's no accident. So again, we receive this because of the thoughts of other people at this intersection, so that there's a stoplight and we're in the harmony of life with others. And so the next time you come to a stoplight, say thank you. So these are things that help us realize that we're receiving things. But the main thing is to do this practice. Otherwise, again, it's just something that we think about. Now, what's the greatest thing that we've done? I think we just read it with three treasures. We got this life. And where do we get it? From those who we're honoring today. And so Nembutsu is about really appreciating this fact of life. And in this day and age, we take life so granted. Of course, we had COVID, and that kind of woke us up. We had these terrible school shootings and sometimes some natural disasters. But we really may be taking life for granted. And yet, it is a rare gift. And Mitsuo Aida wrote this poem called Ancestors, and I'll read it now. And he says, my father and mother, altogether 2. Parents of my father and mother, altogether 4. Parents of parents, altogether 8. If I count in this way back to 10 generations, altogether 1,024. What about back to 20 generations? To my surprise, over 1 million people. From the infinite past, a life rally baton has passed on. Here now, I live with my baton. This is my life. This is your life. And so this is what we're honoring today. The life rally baton that we received from parents, grandparents, and others. And Joko Shinshu is special in that we spend so much time making this real. Sometimes people hear, you may hear that, oh, Shin Buddhism is about death, memorial services. It is about life, our life. We know that once we pass on, things are taken care of. And so it is just this reminders. And we have what Ohigan every year, where we really remember all those in the past. And as we dance, we remember that we danced with our parents and grandparents in the past, and we're still dancing with it. Every time we chant, we have individuals here, but we're chanting not as individuals, it's one voice. This is the interdependence. And also, we're chanting the chants that our parents and grandparents chanted with us. But not only that, this is the chant that Honen, Shinna chanted in other languages before them. And so we are connected with this life energy, and we acknowledge that. And we have these services after a person passes, the first year, third year, 7th, 13th, and so on. You know, why do we have this? Constant, we're reminded we're here because of their efforts. And so Shin Buddhism is not about that. It's really appreciating life, and we have all these things that remind us. I don't know how many people clean up grave sites or bring flowers to the grave site or no still. You know, why do we do that? Why do we have photos at the home of Buddha? Again, a reminder, these are people that have given us this life energy. And so we actively have a practice of reminding ourselves that we are still connected. It's not about death, it's this life energy. And this life energy is what we might call Amida, because this is what flows through all of us. And it continues. And we are reminded of that with this term, Nembutsu, Namo Amida. So life energy doesn't have to be, this Amida Buddha doesn't have to be just a statue, a picture of a human figure, or the characters, Namo Amida, kind of character. We can think of it as life energy. And it's something we don't achieve, it's something that's been given to us. And our Dharma talks and things we read remind us of that. We have received so much. And the truth is, when we look around and we want things, you know, on TV or internet, they're always selling us things, telling us what we don't have. We appreciate what we have to balance that desire for what we don't have. And if we think about the Nisei who came here, who had virtually nothing, who lost everything in 1942, and yet came back and gave us things like this temple and the livelihood that we have. they realized what they had been receiving. And so this is what the essence of Shin Buddhism is about. And as Tom led us in the Three Treasures, I have a little different thing where I say, rare, difficult, and wondrous is to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Rare, difficult, and wondrous is if you hear the teachings of the Buddha, the Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not wake up now, when will we do it? If we do not resolve our life. And so we do cross over. But it's not a one-time deal where we're going from life to death. We cross over, and this practice allows us to cross over every day. It's a balance. As Shin Buddhists, we're not going for enlightenment, I don't think. We're going for awakening. We're ordinary people. We're not doing monastic practices to become enlightened. We realize what we're receiving, and what we receive, we express gratitude with the gratitude. So again, it is just this thought that incrementally, slowly, we begin to wake up, and we make this crossing every time we say thank you, every time we say Namanda. And eventually, we begin to have a life of gratitude, where life really is joyous, and we see the benefits of being alive. So, what do we do after we wake up and say thank you? What do we Shin Buddhists do? If we look at our temples, we serve others. We have Dharma school or lessons. We teach others how to be awake. And we serve others in charities, helping various things. We could have Eco Sangha or different committees that do different things. And so we're always serving others. And we have, I've been singing one of those songs. The debt of gratitude I owe my Dharma teachers, I will express until my bodily form is finally shattered. And so it is serving others, serving because we realize what we have received. We pay back, perhaps not to those teachers, but to others. Because the primal vow is to awaken all beings to this gift of life. And this gift of life we could think of as this life energy. So again, Shin Buddhism is about appreciating what I have, to balance the desire for what I don't have. And we respond with gratitude. And it's a shift from please to thank you. So this crossing this river of fire and river of water is just a shift in the way we look at life. And realize that we are receiving much, much more than anything we can achieve. Because whatever we have achieved has been because of the efforts of so many others. And so with this awakening, I do urge you to practice, try doing these practices, thinking of things, the common everyday conveniences and necessities, and just starting to say thank you or just saying Namanda during the day. And you realize that we have been receiving so much more, and this is a life of gratitude of Shin Buddhism. So with this, please join me in expressing our deepest sense of appreciation to this life energy that we call Amida Buddha. So join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.